Namaskaram. It was an afternoon. I went for juice break. It usually happens between 1:30 to 2:30. So between that I went to Bikshal. By the time I was coming back, at one particular point I saw one Anna. There was one guy. He was like, he would be about 38, 39 years of old, and I saw him. He was doing some weird postures which actually drive me crazy, because it was not very normal for a guy who is like at this age. So he was like doing, for example, let me show you. He was like throwing something and catching just on the air, like there was nothing really happening around himself, but he literally was doing it for some reason. I am not sure. So where exactly he was standing, around him there was one gate kind of a stuff, gate kind of a thing. It was there, was stone gate, and because of the stone gate they also had creeping, what we call plants and all. It has all around that gate, so it was not visible from me from that distance. So what I felt was there must be a small guy, small kid, with whom he was playing, just simply doing like that. And then I went a little ahead, and then I suddenly saw there was a brahmachari who was coming from the other side in a bike. I realized maybe it is the brahmachari, they might be like friends from the childhood or something. So right now they are like trying, they are just playing like that. But within just few minutes, the brahmachari also passed by him through that vehicle, and there were no contact, like eye contact or something. He was still doing the same thing, looking towards the front. And now I was too curious about it, because I did not know what exactly was happening, but what he was doing was too interesting for me, because at this age nobody behaves like this. It's too naive for a 35-year-old, 40-year-old guy. So I went ahead, and suddenly I saw the other side there was one more guy coming. He was also around that age. He almost a bald-headed guy, and he was also doing the similar thing from far distance. So when I looked at these two people doing such kind of an activity which doesn't make sense, it was very naive for the people who are at this age, because somewhere we feel like more we grow, we need to become mature. More we grow, we need to become more strict about life, more serious about life. But when I see such kind of people who are, as they are growing, they are becoming more naive, more childish, and they are playing with everything. So this is what fascinated me. And out of two of these people, actually I knew one Anna. So I went ahead and I talked to him, like, you were playing some hypothetical frisbee or something. So they said yeah, and then they started laughing. Then it was middle of the day, like 2 p.m. in the 2 p.m. in the day. So in that heat sun they went and they started playing frisbee in the ground. Technically they were not supposed to play, because this is not the time to play in Isha. They play around 5 to 6. This is the fixed time for everybody to play. But that day they went ahead and they started playing, and I also joined them for some time. And there is something called flick in frisbee. So nobody knew how to do that, and I was the guy who knew it. So I did it, and I started helping them how to do it. They also asked me, like, with that much amount of curiosity, like as a child has a curiosity within themselves to know what it is, how to do it, and all that stuff. See, you see, most people who get older and older and older, they become very rigid about everything. Everything that happens around them, they have their own conclusions about it, and they just like rigid their mentality, mindset, and thought process. They never become very fluid enough to grasp anything. You try to teach something to a younger guy and try to teach some similar thing to an older guy, you will see a younger guy is learning way more faster than the older guy, irrespective of the fact that it is very easy to learn, but still they do not learn it. You must have experienced it when you were teaching something to your father and mother, like, or your grandpa and grandma about something, some sort of technologies and all. So they find it very difficult to learn it very quickly. So this is what happens when we look at the general way of living. But suddenly when I see this kind of people who are like living such an amazing way, it just blast my mind. Definitely there are certain things that we need to do at certain age. That's a different aspect of it. But what we are trying to do essentially is, at one point Sadhguru also said in one video, he says, the older people who are getting old, they are not thinking they are old enough. They are old enough, and they are still having the similar kind of stuff that younger people are having. For example, like they say that in the city of Bangalore or Mumbai, people who are already in 70s, 80s also, they are still having their dreams, goals and stuff in their mind. They might not be living for another 2-3 decades more, but still they are having such kind of a thing, because it's the entire community, entire city that is moving forward in such a fast pace that they are unable to leave all these things but have these kinds of desire within themselves. At the same time, when you are looking at people who are in 20s and 30s, these are the people that are constantly having as sense of fear within themselves, that I'm old enough to learn this, I'm old enough to learn that, I'm old enough to do this, that, and all that stuff. I still remember there are some people, like even me also, when I started learning music a little bit, I felt like maybe I should have learned it like when I was 12, 13 years of old. Even 20, 30 is 20 or 21 is still, I feel like it's old enough to learn music like a thing, because it also goes for 10 years or 14 years like that, no? That is why I was feeling like I'm old enough to learn this music and all. But slowly, gradually I started picking up, because from today also if I start picking up, in like by the time I become 35, 36, 37, I'll be like really good at it. So if I start from that perspective, it will be different. But what we are essentially doing is, for everything we are feeling like we are old enough to start something, and for old people they are feeling like we are not yet old. Why am I talking about all these things? This is very important for us to know or realize that what this life is all about. If we do not understand who am I, what this life is all about, then what is the point of living everything simply unconsciously? The point is, if we are living simply unconsciously, we are not literally living, we are just living based on societal conditions. What society has put, like these are the things that we need to do when we are alive. We are simply doing the same things, and these are the same things that all the people who lived in the past in this particular planet has done it, and people before them has also done the similar kind of a thing, and nobody could create a significant impact in their own lives. You must look at the people who have created significant impacts in their own life, and then you look forward towards it, and then you feel like, how can I live like this? Now when we talk about creating an impact in their own lives, it is not about achieving so much amount of money, it is not about accumulating so much amount of gold or vehicle or property or something, because all of it at a certain point when we leave the body, it will just simply go away. Like again, accumulation or going for a vacation, this is not the thing that you need to do for yourself. There is something more about the life, understanding the life, real knowledge of life. It is not about somebody's imposition of on you. There are society, they are imposing something, there are religion, they are imposing something, there are scientific aspect of life that is also imposing something on you, that this is life, this is life, this is it, this is it, this is it. Do you really know exactly what you are, who you are, where you come from? All these things, these are burning questions that one should constantly burn themselves within. These questions should burn constantly within themselves, but mostly we are too much caught up in the societal activities that we are not even giving a simple 7 minutes to focus within. That is why Sadhguru launched a beautiful app where you can do this miracle mind like meditation every single at least 7 minutes, or even after doing 7 minutes, at least spend some time to ask these fundamental questions to yourself, that what is this life is all about? How can I know? If there is a possibility to know, then what is that possibility? Can I know by simply accumulating everything, or simply can I turn inward and see what is this life is all about? So this is what the main intention of making this video, that if you are constantly chasing after certain things, it is important to till a certain point that you need to chase, but you have to also understand that why you are chasing all it, and if that why is fulfilled, then you must start looking inward and focusing on this particular life. Or at a certain point, if you feel like maybe what I was looking for to do at one point in time, right now it doesn't seem like I can do it, that point also you start looking, because you have a limited amount of time. As Osho says, that if you have a little bit of memory, little bit of mind, then please do not die unless you realized. If you realized, then tomorrow you die, there is no problem in that. If you have little bit of mind, little bit of sense, little bit of intelligence, then please do not die without realizing. And I still remember the first time I met Sadhguru was in Naga consecration, and in Naga consecration Sadhguru said this similar thing also. Make this the biggest goal of your life, that unless and until I realized it, unless and until I see the truth with my own eyes, there is no way I'm going to do anything. This is the one thing that I need to strive for. And as Sadhguru said, for the people who are brahmacharya, they are the only people Sadhguru take them as disciple. And when he says about brahmacharya, it doesn't mean like people who have taken sannyas for real. He talks about people who are on this path, straight like this. For everybody else who are entertaining, they will be sorry for the loss, because it is not the first time that we are encountering one enlightened being. It is for many lifetimes this has been happening. And as also mock the normal people, like those people failed, you know, constantly still living, those people failed from you. You are living from ancient time, from the beginning of this planet, and those people started, but somewhere they lost the battle and they just melt down. But technically they are the people who actually won, and we are the people who are constantly losing. And if we do not understand this, then the same thing will happen here, and next and next and next and next time as well. So I'm not going to go too much into the hypothetical concept, but at least for this life, at least you need to understand this much, that there is nothing that you can accumulate by going outwards. If you really want to accumulate something, if you really want to gather something, then probably you need to go within yourself. That was the main intention of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now. Namaskaram.